Here's Power of the Prime's Grimlock. Just for size comparison, here's the Titan's Return head. There's no way for it to fit because there's a ball joint on his neck, and you have to shave that off and cut a hole to fit the Titan's Return head, so I'm not going to do that. Robot mode's pretty good. He has double jointed arms. He has a bicep swivel. The chest pops open quite easily, which I don't like. And the head sits back here. You know, usual articulation type stuff. Nothing that really amazing. So in terms of weapons, let me go back to the weapons. He just comes with Volcanicus feet, and they just plug into the side of his arms here. Yeah, really lame and boring. He also comes with this Prime Master, but it's not a Prime Master. It's a solid block of plastic. It doesn't transform or anything. So it's just a filler. So in these sockets, you can plug them in, or you can take Titan Master, and you can stick Titan Masters in there. Now, it's really hard to get them out of here again. So the simplest solution is to flip it over, and you can see right here, you just push from behind. It helps if you have something to push through, and then they pop out. So going back to weapons, this is all he comes with, which is lame. So I gave him Swoop's sword, and it can plug into his fist. You can see it fits pretty good. The sword fits in between the toes. And then for a gun, he could use Slag's gun, but that's really boring. Grimlock's supposed to have a double barrel blaster. Here's the Masterpiece Grimlock blaster, and it works pretty good. Size-wise is actually pretty decent, but I don't want to rob my Masterpiece. So I found Cloudburst works pretty good. As you can see there, as a double barrel blaster, it actually works pretty well for Grimlock. Size comparison. Here is, I forget his name, Snarl, whatever his name is, a little velociraptor thingy. And then, so here's Grimlock next to Slag and Swoop. So for size comparison, this is just a third-party sword I added there, but it looks cool. If you use the Masterpiece sword, it doesn't really fit that well. So it does just, it's too big. This hilt is too big, and the shaft is too short. So that doesn't want to work. In case you're curious, the crown is a little too big for his head. So here's a transformation. Remove those. Pretty simple. You join the feet, unfold this little tail stub. I don't like this. It's really stubby, and it looks kind of, it doesn't seem to flow well. It should be as wide as his tail and tapered out probably to here. So it looks really small. Fold the fists in. Rotate the chest down. Now, inside here, where's the sword? Inside here, there's a rectangular slot that pegs onto this part of the leg. So make sure you line those up and they snap in. And that's kind of what holds the chest closed. It doesn't stay tight very well. close the chest flaps, and then bend the head over. And that's pretty much it. You can bend the tail back. His profile is pretty decent. It looks like Grimlock. But then when you start looking at it from other angles, like his hips are just absolutely massive. Huge, you know, childbearing hips, I guess. Really, really fat hips. They're a little bit too wide. His mouth opens, his head can tilt, he can roar. That's pretty much it. There's little foot pegs for Prime Master, Titan Masters back here. I'm not sure why. Seems weird that they would ride like that. There is another set of pegs on his tail for Prime Master or Titan Master to sit there. His head cannot pivot in any way, like left to right, so it just looks up and down. It can't spin side to side. And then all this stuff back here is for the Volcanicus head. So we'll transform into Volcanicus now. So you open this up, unfold this, and then these fold out 90 degrees, and they actually snap into place. And then you actually need to, I don't know why the instructions tell you to do so, but you open up the fists. It's not really necessary. You're gonna rotate them, and they're gonna fold all the way underneath. Now there's a tab under here that locks into this bicep here, so you gotta make sure that you do it right. There you go. So it looks like that. And then right here, there's a slot and a tab. And so those lock in together. Okay. And then the waist, you disconnect and it's going to hinge from here. You're basically going to rotate the chest like that. And then you're going to sort of open the legs kind of like that. Swing the chest around. Now this can open up and hinge, but it doesn't really, oh, there it goes. Okay. So head goes down, and then you flip this gray part over, open up that red thing, and then his head, and you swing the red part back down to hold the head up. And that's Volcanicus transformed. You can probably move these arms down. So here's Volcanicus with Swoop as one of the arms. Now one problem I have with Swoop is that his legs split really, really easily, and they don't really stay tight at all. And here is Slag. Now I gave him the Masterpiece Grimlock sword, and it actually fits pretty well. I think you can probably hold on to the Masterpiece Grimlock gun, maybe? No. The magazine gets in the way and doesn't line up with the fist, so that's not going to work. Well, maybe I can do it this way. Yeah, there we go. You can sort of hold on to the Masterpiece Grimlock gun, kind of. See how the arms just come apart way too easily? Or the legs, Swoop's legs come apart too easily? So there's Volcanicus. The back is a little bit bare. I wish he had a backpack or something to go back there and hide all this stuff. I can't wait for Sludge and Snarl so I can complete Volcanicus. Oh, and then in the instructions, you can take these fists, and they actually plug into the back of the feet. I guess to make a super foot. so I'm guessing that's what Volcanicus feet, because Snarl and Slag, or Snarl and Sludge, both have these fist parts, and they have to go somewhere when they combine Volcanicus.